Welcome back to our NFC South team preview. We move now to perhaps the most interesting team in the NFC in terms of a bounce back season, and that's the New Orleans Saints, because they get back head coach Sean Payton, who is suspended for Bountygate for all of 2012, and he is one of the premier NFL head coaches and offensive minds. Last year they had Aaron Kromer be the interim head coach for the first 6 games. He went 2-4. Joe finished the season, he went 5-5. And you have to wonder, is there going to be a little bit of a screw you move to the rest of the NFL, to the Roger Goodell specifically, who really botched this investigation, botched the whole campaign, and really looks like an idiot and a failure at his job. We move to the offense, where they have Drew Brees. He's still one of the NFL's best. He's got over 45,000 yards passing, expecting to break 50 this year. He's going to throw for 5,000 yards again, and that's high-powered offense. They're going to score a lot of points. Running back is their weakest position on the offensive skill position. You have Pierre Thomas, who's really the forefront of their three-headed monster. The ground and pound guy, the guy who doesn't get enough credit for his skill level. And then you have Darren Sproles, who expect him to have possibly 2,000 all-purpose yards this year. He's going to be the returner. We've seen what he does in the past as a returner. He's elite, and he's a great guy catching the ball. And in this offense, he can get a lot of catches. We go to Mark Ingram, who's been a disappointment ever since he came out of Alabama as the Heisman Trophy winner. He's yet to win the job that many expected him to. He's not having that sort of just slow and steady wins the race, ground and pound, get the 4.5 yards of carry, and just keep motoring. He's struggled to get 4 yards of carry, and he's really given Pierre Thomas more carries than really the Saints wanted to or expected them to be giving him. Move to wide receiver, where they got a pair of 1,000-yard receivers in Lance Moore, who had a career year last year, and their reliable 7th-round steal in Marquise Colston, who's big, strong, and been reliable his entire career. Next question for this offense is who emerges as the number 3 wide receiver, because they've always had a good third wide receiver. And we're going to be looking for a couple recent draft picks. Wisconsin's Nick Toon, who missed all last season, and their draft pick this year out of OU, Kenny Stills. I like Stills. I think he's more physically gifted as an athlete than Toon is, and I think Toon's going to have a lot of injury problems. Move to tight end, where they've got the best tight end in football right now, Jimmy Graham. He's explosive. He's a great jumper, a great speed, the former basketball player. Likely goes over 1,000 yards again. Probably scores close to 10 touchdowns. We go to Ben Watson, his backup, who's been very good at everything in terms of blocking and catching. Not really a superstar in terms of athleticism anymore, but he's a very good backup who, if Graham misses any time, you're confident that you have a guy who can make some catches, move the chains. The question about the Saints offense now on the offensive line, where they lost Jermon Bushrod, who, yes, he was not one of the better offensive linemen, but you have a camp battle between Charles Brown and Teron Armstead. Brown was their 2nd round pick in 2010, Armstead their 3rd round pick in 2013, who emerges as the champion. In that battle, who starts? Ben Grubb signed to replace Carl Nicks as a starter at left guard. He's good, but not anywhere as good as Carl Nicks was. Brian LaPenta at center, above average. And then you have Jahari Evans, who I like, top 10 guard, I'd say. And then Zach Straith, 2-year starter, but he's missed some time. I think that's the weakness of the offensive line right there. Are going to be your tackles? Can pass rushers take advantage of that? We'll see. Now we look at the defense, where Sean Payton fired Steve Spagnuolo, hired Rob Ryan, switching to the 3-4. So that always begs the question, how do they convert? Who plays the nose? How do the pass rushers do going from end to outside linebacker? We start Broderick on the D-line. Broderick Buntley is above average starter ever since he got out of Philadelphia. Then we go down. John Jenkins could emerge as a nose tackle. He's a big body out of Georgia. Very hard to move. I'd like him to become the starter. He's their 3rd round pick this year. And then they got Akeem Hicks starting. He was supposed to go to LSU, but he got kicked out, ended up in Regina, Saskatchewan, and playing some CIS football instead of some NCAA football. The big question for me is, Cameron Jordan was their best player on the defensive line last year. He had 8 sacks, 67 tackles. I don't like him as a 3-4 end. I think that's going to be a bad conversion for him. So I don't like this defense. I think Rob Ryan, yes, Rob Ryan's history, he's improved teams in his first year being the defense coordinator, but he's gone down ever since after that year. And then we look at a guy they signed to take some snaps. That's Jay Richardson, who's been out of the league since 2010. So you have to wonder, what are you going to get from the former Buckeye? We go down to inside linebacker, where Curtis Lofton is one of the NFL's better run stoppers, but he struggles against the pass. He's a two-down thumper. And then it's Jonathan Vilma, who only played 11 games the past 2 years, and he failed when he tried to convert to the 3-4 with the Jets. So you have to wonder, how can he convert now when he's years older and his body's taking more punishment? Luckily for them, they got a good backup in David Hathorn, who could start for a lot of teams, but he's going to be their middle linebacker. We go outside, where they were supposed to have the big question for me coming in was, how does Will Smith convert to outside linebacker? Well, they don't have to worry about that because he tore his ACL out for the year. Martez Willison is a former high draft pick. I like him in the 3-4. I think he's going to lead the team in sacks this year. We go to Junior Gallant, who's now pushed into a starting role after being a situational pass rusher. We'll see how he does. At corner, it's a weakness. Looks a weakness for this defense. We'll put it that way. Jahari Greer is on decline. You don't think he's going to have much left. He's exited his prime. Keenan Lewis, signed from Pittsburgh, really shouldn't be a guy starting. The guy I like to start would be Patrick Robinson, the former Seminole. Then let's go to the safeties, where they're 3 deep at the position. Roman Harper, a strong safety, is a great in-the-box safety, but can't cover anybody. Malcolm Jenkins, the former corner at Ohio State, was a great conversion to free safety. He's one of the top free safeties in the league. Kenny Vaccaro, the first-round pick out of Texas, very versatile, could play either safety position. I expect him to steal snaps from Harper throughout the year. And then we have Thomas Morstead, who's one of the better punters in the league, and Garrett Hartley, who is going to make kicks 80% of the time, which you can take. My projected record for the Saints, I think they win the NFC South at 9-7, and that is my team preview.